This lesson is going to be especially helpful for those of you who don't have a very powerful computer to edit from. DaVinci Resolve has many different features built in inside to make everything run much smoother. I'm going to show you a little bit how they work and which ones can you implement while you're editing. Let's see. Okay, we're in the edit page, and the first tip here is for you to come up to the playback menu, and we have one option here which is called render cache. Currently, as default, it comes as none, but I recommend you to put smart activated. This means that any of the footage in the timeline that DaVinci Resolve thinks that is a little bit heavier, it's gonna take a little bit more for you to be able to see the playback, is going to be marked with red on the top here, and DaVinci is going to start rendering these files immediately while you don't do anything on the timeline. So if you're stopped, you're not doing anything, or you're just visualizing the timeline, you're not editing properly, DaVinci Resolve in the background is working to make these become blue so that you can easily play back without any lag. Now, if for any reason it doesn't think that something needs rendering, but you still cannot see it in real time, you can right-click and you can go to Render Cache Fusion Output and put it to On. So immediately the red line is going to appear on top and DaVinci is going to start rendering that as well. This is definitely going to make your editing experience much smoother and faster. Another thing that slows down a lot the playback is the color grading. So if you're trying to scroll through the timeline and it's just getting too slow, you can try coming up to this icon over here and just deactivating entirely the color grading to see if this can help a little bit with the flow of editing. Now the last and most important one, before actually activating it, let's come up to the settings and I'm going to show you what you have to change over here. In this first menu, Master Settings, if you go down, you're going to be able to see Optimize Media and Render Cache. And inside here, you have Proxy Media Resolution. The idea here is that you can create a lower resolution version of all of your files, be it screen recordings or video clips, whatever you have, so that you can edit using those, but in the moment of export, DaVinci reconnects with the original files and exports it in the highest resolution possible. This makes editing much faster. And it's also super useful if at some point you decide to work with another editor, so you can send only the proxies, these lowest resolution files, the person can edit it for you and just give you back the project so that you can export using the original files. And here is exactly where you set the quality of these files that you want. I'm doing this screen recording on Windows, so these are the options that you're going to see around here. First, you have the proxy media resolution, so keeping it as half is already going to be more than enough if you have 4K, for example. And this is the proxy media format. And usually DNxHR is going to be the best codec for you to use to have very quick playback on Windows. And the higher you go, the best quality it is and the bigger are going to be the files. So I would just suggest you to keep somewhere around the middle, maybe HQ or SQ. It's already going to be enough for you to visualize well the videos while you're editing and have a much smoother playback. So let's keep it HQ, for example, hit save. And now for everything that you want proxies created, you can just come to the media pool. And let's say, for example, you want to create proxies for these 3 files. You select them, you right click, and you just go to generate proxy media. And immediately DaVinci is going to start creating these proxies in the same folder where you have these files over here. And later, while you're editing, just to be sure that DaVinci is using the proxies to show you the playback and not the original files, you can come to this icon over here, click the drop-down menu, and be sure that you have Prefer Proxies activated. So if they exist, DaVinci is going to show you the proxies. If they don't, it shows you the original ones. And this way, it should be way easier for you to edit your project, especially if you're using very high resolution files like 4K and slower machines. Okay, that's it for optimizing your workflow. See you in the next lesson.